Hello, and welcome back to the A&R Podcast. I'm your co-host, Ryan.
And I'm your other co-host, Addison.
And today we're doing our first movie review on the Netflix original, The Lovebirds. This movie follows a couple, Leilani and Jibran, on the brink of breaking up when they accidentally get embroiled in a bizarre murder mystery. And as they get closer to clearing their names and solving the case, they need to figure out how they, in their relationship, can survive the night. So let's get right into it. The intro scene. What were your thoughts on that?
The intro scene, that was like where they were just arguing, right?
No. The intro scene was like where they were
just like becoming a couple, right? Like on their first date.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it cut to them fighting. Okay. I guess that was I kind of first impressions gross. Stop it. Especially when they started kissing. I'm like, we didn't need to see that.
Yeah. First impressions for me, I feel like they didn't need that. Because for me, in my opinion, I felt like it's obviously the first thing you're supposed to show is supposed to rope them in. So I understand why they need to set up this relationship of they like each other and then they go to have lunch and then blah 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 and then skip 4 years later and then bam, they're fighting.
Yeah.
But it's just that's kind of so basic. I just as soon as they jump 4 years into the future and they're fighting, I was like, ooh, this is gonna get good. I think that should have been the opening scene, where they get obviously they don't want to seem like they're fighting, but I think it would have been possibly even funnier if maybe Leilani, because she was the one who was trying to be oh, we're not fighting, she throws a plate at Jibran or something, I don't know, something crazy, and it smashes, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? The neighbors are gonna think we're not fighting. And then she should have yelled, we're not fighting, we're just rehearsing a scene, it's an angry couple or something like that. I think that would have been funnier because obviously, the people who play Leilani and Jibran, Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani, they're hilarious. In Issa Rae's show Insecure, she is so funny. So they should have leaned more into because they obviously do. It is a comedy movie, but right away they should have just gone joke after joke.
Yeah.
Maybe even, especially since it's TVMA or not TVMA. Sorry.
It's R.
Sorry. Yeah, it's R. They should have gone into dark jokes right away. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Because obviously they do touch on some interestingly dark themes.
I also thought that it is rated R, but it doesn't feel too R-rated some other R-rated things are, you know?
Yeah.
So they could have gone worse, like you say.
Yeah. I agree with you. Actually thinking about it, I kept I think possibly it's because we're so desensitized to what makes an R-rated movie R. It was just because of the cursing, because they kept just saying the F word a lot.
And then the one orgy scene.
Yeah. But that was I want to say tame, but
it wasn't really
the
showy.
The idea of it was more disgusting than what was actually seen, because most of it was just Leilani and Jibran just making fun of it.
Yeah.
So,
oh gosh.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It sometimes didn't feel like an R-rated movie, but yeah. Or, now I'm just thinking about it. You know, it would be a very good movie, or not a very good movie, a very good opener. It opens on them going to the party. Cut out them fighting before. Just first scene is them in the car, and then 5 seconds in, the guy on the bicycle just gets slammed into the car. I think that would have been such a shocker opening.
Yeah.
When it happened, I was like, whoa.
Oh my gosh.
I think
So
that would have been a great thing.
I paused it right before that happened and like went
Mhm.
to the bathroom or whatever and then came back and unpaused the thing and I just hear this bang and like a guy hits the car. I'm like, this was very unexpected. That was
Yeah, it's
interesting.
mhm,
I feel like setting it up as kind of like calm before, so you're not really
mhm,
expecting anything, kind of helped
mhm.
with that like jump scare surprise. Oh my gosh, you get the
Yeah.
same feeling they had.
Well, I don't know. Personally, for me, I would kind of just like that because I feel like everything kind of up to it, it's like self-explanatory.
Yeah.
The scenes are obviously important. It just I should say this. They should have gone quicker through the first two scenes because I feel like they drag.
Mhm.
That's what I'll
Oh
say.
yeah. That's what
Because
I was thinking. I was thinking like this movie just feels like it there could have been more. So yeah, cutting out like those scenes could have helped with making there be more to the story cuz it feels
yeah,
like a here like child story and then just making it a
more adulty.
little
Yeah.
adulty and stuff. So like yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
little too simple of a storyline, I guess.
hmm And like on to that point as well, like as he says, kids story. I kind of agree because like the jokes were funny in my opinion, but they were kind of like
Mhm.
I don't want to say children's jokes, but they're like more like PG-13 jokes. Like I
Yeah.
was genuinely surprised there was no like sex jokes really, and I'm
Mhm.
like, guys, come on, this is TVMA. Like
Yeah. Um, I
like the
was.
orgy scene, kind of, but like not really
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, they don't really make dirty jokes. They more just use. I don't know how to even explain it.
hmm
They just use words that are technically dirty and not really elaborate to make it bad.
Yeah. Since we're crapping all over the movie, I'm gonna not do it. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
one good thing. Um, the way that it's visually presented, I think it's really good.
Mhm.
Like, if you look at the trailer, obviously, or not the trailer, sorry, the poster, it's a very aesthetic looking picture. And just throughout the movie, it was very like very pleasing to watch. I feel like they
Yeah.
did very well in using their setting because this obviously it takes place over one night in New York City, and obviously uh they they use like lots of lights and very aesthetic looking lights and costumes to make it more visually pleasing. Like for example, when with Leilani just kind of wearing the unicorn onesie for like a
Yeah.
like it's so weird and displaced, but like the fact that it's like pink and such kind of like if it's not like very bright or very dark, she like sorry, what am I trying to say? Her unicorn onesie always makes her stand out, even if she's in the dark or she's in like a scene where there's like a lot of light on her. So I really like that. I thought it
Yeah.
was really the costuming was good because it was still neat to look at, but also kind of funny and realistic of like what you can get like at like I think they went to like some like Walmart
Like
knockoff or something like
yeah.
that. So yeah, I'll say that they were very good in using colors.
Mhm. Something I'd like to say I liked about it was Jibran's like milkshake monologues is what was it? What's this how why can't Leilani called it? Okay. Leilani called his monologues milkshake monologues because he's just like he goes off on some random tangent and
Mm-hmm.
I like it because I don't know, I can relate in my brain where I'm just like, oh oh that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But like also I feel like a lot of the time it's like a little too unrealistic. Like I mean, you shouldn't really be going off on that type of tangent when you're in a life or death situation, which I think he does probably at least once. But
I,
that it adds to comedy.
I think it's kind of realistic, and I kind of
Yeah.
liked it because the way that he went off on tangents was like he got very theoretic, well, not theoretical, but more kind of like philosophical and very introspective, and
Yeah.
it's very funny because obviously it's like why is he talking like that, but also it for me personally, I feel like I liked it because it's a very I want to say interesting way to look at it, but it's a unique way to look at it, especially because I feel like
Yeah.
it's not shown because usually when people are dealing with death, it's like in a super like, oh, I'm crying and falling apart, or like
Mhm.
or they're kind of just shut off. But the way that Jibran deals with it is kind of more on like an introspective level of like
Yeah.
kind of he's kind of like analyzing the situation,
That
which
does make a lot
I
of
feel
sense.
yeah, which I feel like in my opinion, I feel like that should have been something that Leilani does because Leilani, I think they said that she was what a marketing strategist. No,
I
not them.
really
She
am not sure.
she does something with like ads and stuff like that and like marketing, and then Jabron does film editing. So I feel like that should have been Leilani
Oh
because
yeah.
she personally for me I felt that should have been her because she seems more of like the analytical type person because obviously working for this ad agency she has to figure out what connects to a customer.
Mhm.
Like I kind of understand why they gave it to Gibran because he's doing all these documentaries kind of like about our world and like saving the planet and stuff like that. So he's like
Yeah.
he's becoming more worldly. I'll say that. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah, like he's learning about a lot of cultures and different ideas.
Yeah. So I do have a okay. I have a question for you. So
Yay.
we we learned that okay, no, I'll just ask my question. How do you
Mhm.
think the whole frat dudes blackmailing these rich sex cult people started? Because like it kind of gives an explanation, but it also kind of doesn't. And like I feel like that could be something that you could like theorize.
Yeah. I don't know that I even understood what was happening. I thought that they were sending invitations to what was it like I don't even remember what the word was, but the cult
Hmm.
meeting. I thought that's what they were doing. But yeah, that mean wait. Oh, cuz they were like sending pictures of them there? Like we have
Something like
pictures
that.
of you and we know you're part of it, so like we could release this type of thing.
I think so.
Oh,
Like
I get it now.
they should have done a little more. From what I got from it was that these frat dudes knew that, for example, I think her name was Edie. Edie
Oh
and
yeah,
her
Edie.
husband were part of this cult.
Yeah.
They were going to release it because
Mhm.
obviously, oh my god, what's Bicycle? That's what they called him.
Yeah,
Bicycle was going to
bicycle.
go meet them, but then he gets killed, obviously. The way it seems was that Bicycle was going to go give Edie the photos, and Edie was going to give Bicycle maybe hush money or something like that. But obviously, as we learn, Edie was not planning to do that, but planning to kill Bicycle. So no matter what, Bicycle would have died, I guess, because he would have
Wait,
gone grease
she
to his face.
was?
But yeah, because well,
I thought that was just torture to get them to tell her like information, but they're like, we have no clue what's going on.
I thought it was I thought it was just like that was gonna be her original plan.
Oh, yeah, that I guess would make sense because she did have them in the horse place with the grease on the stove. But I guess like they could have done that either way. It's not that hard to relocate to the shed, or they were probably gonna bring them to the shed anyways. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Speaking though of Edie, I don't know. I feel like there should have been more like Grease. like baking grease to the face, that's pretty sadistic. So
Yeah.
like I thought that was actually like kind of like a good thing to think of. But the other thing, getting kicked by a horse, it's like,
Really not as bad.
yeah, like I don't know, they should have thought of something worse.
Yeah, cause like it or not as
They,
bad as the grease. Like, cause and why would Leilani pick the grease? Like seriously, does she really want burns all over her face? That's so much more painful than like a bruise or a few broken ribs.
yeah. And
That's
obviously
skin pain for
Jibran
the rest of your life.
survives the night. Like he
Yeah.
literally goes toe to toe with a cop, an
Yeah.
actual cop with broken ribs. So like
Yeah. True.
obviously he loses, but like the fact that he stands his ground for even more than a second obviously proves just to something, right? Like
Proves he's a strong man.
uh, yeah. I,
Yeah.
I I feel okay. Like what's really interesting though was so Edie's obviously rich.
Yeah.
Why'd they make her seem like she was like some like weird hillbilly Texan girl
It
something?
might
I don't know.
be something
Just like
like in the Ozarks where there's like that family who makes a ton of drugs and sells the drugs. They live on a farm that's not really that nice, but they're rich. So maybe they do like some weird thing like that.
maybe. But it seemed like just from the house that Edie. Well, I should ask you this: in
Mhm.
Ozarks, does the family flaunt their wealth?
Um, I don't know if they flaunt their wealth. I think they do in a way. Like,
Okay,
well, no, they
cause
flaunt their people. uh, yeah, I don't really think they flaunt their wealth. Maybe they do. I don't remember. I haven't watched it in a couple months.
yeah, cause like just from seeing Edie's house, it seemed like she was kind of flaunting her wealth with her house. I don't
Mhm.
know.
They, I think in the show these people do have a big house though, so maybe that's
Mhm.
flaunting your wealth.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I have another question about the bacon grease there. So when
Hmm.
Leilani kicks it, I thought it ended up in the husband's face, but it didn't.
It
And I was
didn't.
really confused.
Maybe it like ended up like somewhere weird, like his groin or something. Wait, I don't
That
know
would
what
be
happened.
horrible.
It would be
Like,
horrible. It would be so bad.
like it seemed like it went to his face, but if it didn't hit his face, then it obviously like hit his chest or something,
Hmm.
something of the sorts, right?
Yeah. I think
So
you'd have to like rewatch the scene to figure that out, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't think there really needed to be an explanation for that. I feel like
Hmm.
there should have been like more of a visual explanation for that though, because like for me personally, I had no idea what happened. So yeah.
Yeah. I
Um.
think that I subconsciously just accept that I don't know a lot of things, and then I'm like, oh, it's fine. I don't need to know. Um, oops.
Okay. So okay. I'm sorry. Let's jump back to the frat dudes.
The frat dudes, yes.
Okay. When they start like beating up the frat kid,
Hmm.
like he's like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just told to package and send and then whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, he seemed like too innocent to like he obviously didn't seem to know what was happening,
Yeah.
which was weird because it's like bicycle obviously was entangled with dangerous people, so I feel like the friends should have at least known about what they were dealing with. So
Yeah, I think maybe he was just like, hey, you want to make some money? And the frat guys were like, sure. And he's just like, all you gotta do is put some stuff in here and we'll buy you pizza. And they're like, awesome.
I love pizza.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of how it went. And then now that they're like, okay, we'll come back next week or
Maybe.
tomorrow night.
Like
Do they do this every single day?
That is a good question. Yeah.
How
Also,
many blackmails do they have to give?
who does the blackmailing?
Yeah.
Like, and from what it seems, this cop, so cop dude, Mustache was his name. Um, he's a cop. He's part of the cult, and he's part of the blackmailers. Like,
Mhm.
I was like, excuse me, hold up a second. So you're saying that not only are you a cop, but you're part of this cult. And not
Yeah.
only are you a lookout for the cult, but you're also blackmailing the cult.
Yeah. You're both for and against the cult and for and against the police.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like it's like more the ambiguous characters always good. But it's
Always
just like,
good.
well, I don't know. Personally for me, I kind of like them because then like you're not sure what to root for. So
Yeah.
it's like kind of interesting. But obviously he's the bad guy because he's going around killing people.
Uh-huh. Did he
My
kill his
question,
own people?
yeah, he killed the frat dudes.
Wait, why did he kill the frat dudes?
I don't know. That
uh,
that was weird. Like why did he kill them?
they did nothing. Literally. Maybe
Yeah.
because he got angry at his friend or something.
But he killed the friend as well. Like I don't know. Like
Maybe it was the friend's fault. Wait, what did the friend do again? I don't.
so
It's so hard
Mustache,
to follow this story.
yeah, Mustache and Bicycle, from what I gather, created the little group of people who's blackmailing the cult.
Hmm.
Then from what it seems, Bicycle kicked Mustache out of the group. Mustache got mad, decided more to work with the cult and be quote a lookout, while also he's more like a lookout for the cult than he is for the police. And I was like, excuse me,
Yeah,
what?
true.
That's confusing. Explain.
Oh, it was the money thing. Yeah.
Hmm. Like, I feel like there should have been, cause let's see, how long was this movie? This movie was like an hour and 27 minutes. So
Yeah.
obviously they they had more time, or they could have added more scenes to explain why they were doing, or not why they were doing, like what they were doing. Like
Hmm.
like obviously they don't use it because this they don't use it. It's a linear timeline, but I feel like when Mustache explains to them everything with Bicycle and the frat guys and the sex call and the police, they should have possibly done two things. Number one, they should have been a flashback to explain it as well. And then I feel like maybe
Hmm.
Jibran or Leilani should have been like, huh? What? Like they're confused out of their mind.
Yeah.
And so then he kind of explains it a second time. And they're like, oh, I get
Yeah.
it now. Just like maybe for the audience. Because, like, I don't know, I was confused. So, yeah.
Yeah.
However, though, I'm going to try to keep up the compliments as well as
Yeah.
the critiques. The characters themselves, though, the plot confusing. The characters make sense. I
Yeah.
feel though that there should have been maybe a little more to why Leilani and Jibran want to break up
Yeah. Because it's kind
because
of just like we fight, we break up.
yeah,
Okay.
like from what
Your
it
fights
seems,
are funny fights. They're like
Leilani yeah,
nitpicky.
Leilani wants spontaneity from Jibran,
Yeah.
and like that's one thing.
Yeah.
Like obviously I haven't dated anyone, so I don't know what a deal breaker is or isn't. But I feel like, are you really gonna like maybe because I do know people who are like, oh, they're not spontaneous anymore. I'm gonna break up with them. But like I don't know. Usually that comes from more of like a deeper rooted thing because as
Yeah.
you can see through the movie, they still work together. I feel like there should have been
Hmm.
more them fighting each other or more explaining why they want to break up because
Yeah.
obviously from what it seems they're breaking up not because they hate each other but just because they aren't compatible with each other because they seem like
Yeah.
they'd be the way that they make it seem is like they'd be better as friends because they obviously are very smart and they work together throughout the whole movie. Honestly, yes, it's because half the time they have to work together because, the cops are coming after them, so they think.
Yeah.
But like there should have been more pushback from each other or more explanation of why they're breaking up, in
Mhm.
my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was
I
that was supposed to be a compliment. Let me compliment
that
them
was
though.
supposed to be a compliment. I guess
That was not a compliment though.
the
Say what you're
thing
gonna say. Yeah.
I guess the thing about them like sort of breaking up and it being based on spontaneity is that they're just not really understanding each other. And I think that when they go to the sex cult place and they like the orgy comes out and then Leilani is like, "Oh my gosh, look how spontaneous." And he's like, "I bet they had it on their calendar." And so they like understand that they can both have what they want and it still be great.
Yeah. Like from what it seems like the sex cult thing, yeah, it's like kind of they're like, oh, it's spontaneous, but it's also coordinated, and then their version of that is let's have sex in the back of an ambulance. I was like, interesting. That's a little interesting.
Yeah,
But now I'm gonna
interesting
compliment them
choice.
because I said I was gonna compliment them, but then I just critique them even more. Um, I like their personalities. Their personalities make 100%
Yeah.
sense to their character and how they act and what their dialogue is. Like for example, Leilani is very witty. She's very snappy. She's I don't want to say she's got the perfect joke for the perfect situation, but she knows how to be funny. Like
Even in a scary
because it makes
situation.
sense to her character that she works for an ad agency, so she knows what people like. So in a weird way, it's like she's in a sense kind of giving the audience what they want, which is the comedy. Kind of
Yeah.
like I don't know how to explain it. Like it makes sense for her character, and then same with Jibran. He's kind of more stuck up and a little more like kind of like not closed-minded, but cautious. There we go. That's the right word. That's
Yeah,
what I was looking for.
cautious.
Cautious, a little bit stuck up, very nervous, and that makes sense because obviously he's a film documentary editor. Did I say that right? I don't even know.
Yeah,
So
sort of.
with him doing like going around the world and like looking at how kind of the like everything is falling apart, it makes sense that he's kind of like that because he's like, oh, the world's just like dying and whatever, and this is bad, and like it's like
Mhm.
obvious that he's anxious all the time. So like their characters make sense. There's no scene where what they say doesn't make sense to the character. So the
Yeah.
person who did write this, actually a few people wrote this, three people: Aaron Abrams, Brendan Gall, and Martin. I think his last name is Guro. Garo? I don't know. Gero. Um, you guys know how to write a good character, so good for you.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
They definitely made it so that they both bring their own thing to the table so they don't both have like the same sense of humor and whatnot. So
Hmm.
then you can appeal to lots of people who are watching.
Yeah. I do like though how it's kind of like when they flip it on its head where the whole time they're like, oh, we gotta run from the cops because we're two people of color, so they would
Yeah.
automatically think we killed this person, and then they're like, nope, we knew that Mustache killed these people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's
And then they just start like saying all their
yeah,
crimes they've
like
committed in
oh,
their life.
I know that was very
And the cop is
interesting.
just are just there like, what? Why are they confessing right now?
Yeah, it's like if I were to kill Jabron, I would like strangle him, but I wouldn't like kill him, Like I've thought about it, but I would never do it. I'd be like, Leilani, stop talking. Girl,
Yeah.
don't get sent to jail. So yeah,
Yeah.
like
At
um
times, I guess the movie is a lot like that horror movie trope where the people are like, let's hide behind the chainsaws. Like, what are you doing?
yeah,
Type of thing. But it's all good.
yeah. Like where they're kind of just like doing something dumb but for the sake of comedy. Like wait,
Yeah.
yeah, which yeah. I feel that is something I think the movie does do. Does it do it in an R-rated sense? Maybe. But do they do it? Very much so. Because there are scenes that just like, for example, when Bicycle is getting killed,
Yeah.
just like their faces just make this scene hilarious. They're just looking at each other like, what's
What is
what's
happening?
happening? And you just can't help but laugh at the fact this man is either getting run over by a car. Cause like
Mm-hmm.
in real life you would be like, oh my god, what is happening? But like
Yeah.
they
And like
just
I
make it
guess
so funny.
yeah. So when what's his name fixes the phone and then just hands it over and then Jibran just like opens the phone and goes into this app and it like has these weird symbols and stuff and is the guy Keith is his name just supposed
Maybe,
to
yeah,
be
I think
sitting
so.
there like, oh yes, you are calling your doctor, that is your doctor app. Like
Yeah,
what?
I was like, explain yourself, please.
Like obviously the guy's looking at the phone because like he just fixed it and like I mean usually you want us to see like, oh yeah, it's working, or like I don't know, it wouldn't be natural for him to just get up and walk away without saying anything. So
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute.
yeah, and also
Like,
the
yeah,
envelope that Leilani gave to her friend, like what happened with that?
true, true. See, yeah, that's
They just have
probably
that
gets
plot
turned
point,
in for evidence though, right?
I guess, like eventually, but uh,
Like, I don't know, it like has to be, right? 'Cause
yeah,
like if he does anything else, isn't that like illegal or whatever? I just
yeah.
say he, I meant she.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. I guess it's just kind of weird. Like, is Leilani just gonna come back and be like, "Hey, can I have my envelope back?" Like, okay. I don't know. That's just so weird. Why?
Especially because she think the friend she thinks that's full of pictures of Jabron's penis.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just like, oh wow, that's
Like
wonderful.
nobody does that. But okay.
Yeah, that was interesting
Mhm.
to say the least. So yeah, I feel like the movie does have some in like for example that like plot points that aren't tied up. But personally for me, I kind of like it because it allows you to theorize like for example what happened with the sex cult. Are we ever gonna figure
Yeah.
out what happened to them? I kind of like how they kind of leave some stuff open ended.
Mhm.
Like for example the sex cult, which I guess does contradict my point before of I need explanations on things. But I'm gonna try to make this
Yeah.
a solid thing now. It's okay to leave things open ended.
Yeah.
However, if you don't explain where you started from, that's where it's confusing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for example, TV shows. Like, um, you have to explain from step one where a character has come from. And then, obviously, by the end of season one, there's obviously some cliffhanger that will make you theorize about, like,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like okay with like kind of not knowing what happened with the sex cult or not knowing what happened with the photos. Which personally I think the photos probably get turned in as evidence.
Yeah, and probably helps them find the culprits.
That's just my personal opinion.
Mhm.
Should we go on to recommending this movie or
Sure.
possibly not? Would you recommend this movie?
Um, Probably not.
Ooh.
Just because, like,
Ooh.
it wasn't super good, but, like, I mean, if you're into, like, people being stupid, yeah, it's perfect for you.
Interesting. I would recommend the movie for like if okay, well we're in quarantine right now, so I would recommend it as like a Netflix party watch movie with
Oh,
a few of your
yeah,
friends
that would be
because
good.
there are jokes. There's intentional and unintentional jokes in the movie, I think, that
Hmm.
you and your friends can laugh at. Like personally for me when I watched it, I sat down for dinner. I had a pizza with me. I just ate the pizza while I watched the movie. And I would laugh, but I was like, oh, because we didn't watch the movie together, which we usually do watch our stuff together. And I was like, I kind of miss watching the movie with Addie. So yeah,
Hmm.
like I think it's a fun watch to watch with friends.
Yeah, I think
You
just everything you watch is better with friends or do.
Uh,
I mean, not everything you do, but like some things, like playing video games and whatnot, is
yeah,
just funner with friends.
yeah. Well, my end was more for the TV shows because there are some TV shows that personally for me it's just like it's more of like a talk about it after the situation thing. Like, so for example, a movie that like I'm happy that we didn't watch together was The Midnight Gospel
Hmm.
because I personally for me I feel like well when I watched it I personally had to pause it and think about it. So it's like that's
Yeah.
for me, that would be like the type of thing where you would just have to pause, think about it, and then like play it again. And so I think watching that with a friend would be like kind of
Yeah.
eh.
So like
But yeah,
dramas and comedies are good with friends then.
yeah. But
That's a statement.
like introspective stuff, which this is not because this is a a romance comedy, a rom-com, if you
A
will,
rom-com.
which is actually literally what it's called by I was being stupid for a second. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good watch. It's a good watch to watch with friends, I
Mhm.
think. Or I
Yeah.
guess your significant other.
Oh, yeah.
But like I feel like you might not want to watch it because they might be telling you, "Hey, I want to break up with you." So, I don't
What?
know.
No.
Maybe, who knows?
Who knows?
Who
Oh
knows? Who
man.
knows? That is our review on the Lovebirds.
The
I'm your
Lovebirds.
co-host, Ryan.
And I'm your other co-host, Addison.
And next Saturday, we will be reviewing the movie Extraction, also on Netflix,
Wait,
obviously. What?
what about next Wednesday for the show?
Oh my god, yeah, I'm being stupid. This Wednesday, well, two things. Number one, first show that we're going to have a featured guest on, our friend
Yeah.
Madeline, and we are going to be watching and reviewing the first season of Pose. Woot
Pose.
woot. I'm
Yeah.
excited for the show. I love like just the photos for that show. It looks amazing. Very excited to watch
Yeah.
it.
It looks so pretty.
So yeah.